What happens if this changes everything we thought we knew about the next generation? What if this seemingly quiet moment of teen angst and new romance becomes the beginning of something much bigger, something profoundly dangerous that shakes the very foundation of this entire town? Right now, Valentine and Carly are navigating their unexpected, highly controversial romance. They think they are building a future, but Sonny and his right-hand man Brick are already plotting in the shadows to sabotage them. Sonny uses surveillance, intimidation, and endless pressure, creating a pressure cooker environment while Jason returning adds a heavy layer of protective tension around Carly. Meanwhile, over in the younger crowd, Gio is happily dating Emma. They are enjoying the pool, sharing sweet moments, and looking toward a bright musical future. Their innocent joy contrasts sharply with the brooding, secretive existence of Charlotte. Charlotte is standing at the edge of the board, watching her father risk his safety for Carly, and watching the boy she has a massive crush on hold hands with someone else. She is isolated. She has been keeping massive secrets about Valentine hiding out, and she is clashing bitterly with her mother, Lulu. She misses her ideal family and feels entirely alienated. That is the setup. That is where we are starting. But the current drama is just the launching pad. The board is set, the pieces are vulnerable, and Charlotte is about to make her opening move. Let us build the first future scenario, and this one has massive stakes. If you look ahead, the most immediate trajectory points directly at Carly. In this future, Charlotte realizes that Carly is a massive liability to Valentine and his survival and freedom. We know Sonny, Jason, and Brick are digging into Valentine and his past, looking for any excuse to take him down and separate him from Carly. Charlotte is incredibly protective of her father. She has lied for him, hidden him, and risked her own relationship with her mother for him. If she senses that Carly is drawing the dangerous, lethal gaze of Sonny and Jason toward Valentine, she will not just sit back and watch. Who benefits here? Sonny and Brick, inadvertently, because Charlotte might actually do their dirty work for them by driving Carly away. Who is in danger? Carly, without a doubt. This path could lead to Charlotte actively approaching Carly with chilling, cold warning. Imagine Charlotte, with that pure ice in her veins, looking Carly dead in the eye and telling her to walk away before someone gets hurt. But Carly is notoriously stubborn. She never listens to warnings, especially not from teenagers. When Carly inevitably ignores her, Charlotte escalating the situation would be terrifying. We are not necessarily talking about a direct physical attack right away, but psychological warfare. Charlotte could use burner phones, hire people to follow Carly, or sabotage Carly and her business at the hotel or diner. Charlotte could plant evidence, manipulate situations to make Carly look unstable to Valentine, or orchestrate events that put Carly in precarious, highly stressful situations with the mob. Carly would react with paranoia and anger, refusing to be intimidated, which would only fuel Charlotte and her escalation. This could lead to a massive wedge between Valentine and Carly, as Valentine is forced to defend his daughter's increasingly erratic behavior. The story could be heading toward a devastating showdown where Carly realizes the call is coming from inside the house, and the enemy is a teenage girl who has learned manipulation from the absolute worst. Now, let us pivot to a completely different future. One that changes the entire social fabric of the younger generation and brings up some very dark history. What if the real explosion happens in Charlotte and her personal life? Let us talk about Emma. We have all seen Charlotte developing deep, complicated feelings for Gio, but Gio is completely devoted to Emma. In this second future, Charlotte and her jealousy morphs into a dangerous, all-consuming obsession. But it is not just about Gio. It is about exactly who Emma is. Emma carries that specific family name. She is intrinsically linked to Anna. We all remember exactly what Charlotte did to Anna in the past. She stalked her, broke into her hotel room, left terrifying tarot cards, and actively tried to destroy her life because she believed Anna was bad for Valentine and was stealing him away. Charlotte never truly accepted Anna, and her actions ultimately contributed to driving them apart. Looking ahead, history is poised to repeat itself with a terrifying twist. If Charlotte cannot have Gio, she will ensure Emma cannot have him either. Emma is sweet, innocent, and beloved by everyone. If Charlotte breaks Emma, she breaks a symbol of pure goodness, which marks her true point of no return. The bigger consequence may be Charlotte unleashing a calculated campaign of sabotage against Emma. She could spread vicious rumors, manipulate text messages, set up intricate traps to make Emma look unfaithful or unhinged, and slowly, methodically isolate Emma from Gio. But because Emma is related to Anna, Charlotte and her vendetta might escalate beyond mere teen drama into actual physical danger. She might gaslight Emma or literally trap Emma somewhere dangerous, like a locked room at the estate or the catacombs. She might push Emma into situations where she gets hurt, justifying it in her mind as simply eliminating a threat to her own happiness. This path fundamentally alters Charlotte and her character trajectory, cementing her not just as a protective daughter, but as a ruthless competitor who views people as obstacles to be removed. But there is a third future, guys, and this is the absolute wild card. What happens next may be something far more insidious, something very few people are anticipating. What if Charlotte does not choose between targeting Carly or targeting Emma? What if she targets both simultaneously, using one to completely destroy the other? Imagine a scenario where Charlotte manipulates the adults and their paranoia to ruin Emma and her life, or uses the teen drama to distract everyone from her sabotage of Carly. There is a chance that Charlotte fully ascends into the role of a young Helena. Helena used mind control, poison, and elaborate theatrical schemes. Charlotte might not use mind control, but she can use social media, deep fakes, or leverage explosive secrets she overheard while hiding her dad. In this unexpected future, Charlotte orchestrates a scenario where Carly is somehow blamed for something terrible that happens to Emma. Or perhaps she manipulates Sonny and his crew into thinking Emma is a threat, or uses her knowledge of the spy agency and Jack to create a massive diversion. What if she teams up with someone unexpected, or manipulates a grieving James to do her bidding? This is the path where Charlotte becomes a master puppeteer. She wouldn't just be reacting out of raw emotion, she would be moving the pieces on the board just like her father, just like her grandmother Helena. She would smile sweetly in Lulu and her face, act like the perfect, innocent angel for Valentine, while secretly burning down the lives of the women she despises. It does not have to be the most likely path, but it is undoubtedly the most fascinating and terrifying. It turns the town into her personal playground, pitting the mob against the spy agency just to clear the board for her dad. No one, not Dante, not Chase, not even Anna, would suspect a grieving, confused teenager until it is entirely too late and the damage is irreversible. If you ask me, looking at all these possibilities on the map, the path that feels most likely is a terrifying blend of the first two. But starting with Emma, I keep coming back to the idea that teenage emotions are raw, immediate, and impossible to control. Charlotte has to see Gio and Emma every single day. That proximity is a powder keg waiting for a spark. I believe she will start testing the waters of her dark side by trying to break up Gio and Emma. It is the perfect training ground for her manipulation skills. But the path that makes the most sense long term is her eventual, inevitable war with Carly. Once she realizes she can successfully manipulate the teens, she will set her sights on the bigger threat to her family. Carly is the ultimate boss battle for Charlotte. Carly has defeated many villains. She is loud, aggressive, fiercely protective of her own territory, and she does not back down from anyone. Seeing a teenage girl try to outmaneuver Carly is the kind of gripping television we are all waiting for. Carly cannot just physically fight a teenager. She has to outsmart her, but Charlotte has the element of surprise and presumed innocence on her side. I firmly believe the story is heading toward a point where Charlotte and her dark DNA completely overrides her maternal upbringing. She will justify every single lie, every trap, and every dangerous game by telling herself she is protecting her family and claiming what is rightfully hers. That is her family's way, and I think Charlotte is finally ready to embrace it fully. But we cannot stop there, because the future is always expanding. If that happens, if Charlotte successfully ruins Emma and her relationship, or manages to drive Carly away from Valentine through sinister means, what comes after that? The next shockwave is the devastating long-term emotional fallout for Valentine and Lulu. If Charlotte goes down this dark path and eventually gets caught, the bigger consequence may be the absolute destruction of Valentine and his world. Imagine the psychological horror when Valentine realizes that his daughter has become the very monster he tried so hard to shield her from, and worse, that she did it all in his name. His guilt would be immeasurable. This could lead to Valentine taking the blame for her crimes just to save her from prison. And what about Lulu? When Lulu fully grasps that her sweet girl has been orchestrating psychological warfare and endangering lives, the current custody battle will look like child's play. Lulu would be consumed by guilt, wondering if she pushed Charlotte away by being too harsh about Valentine. And do not forget Dante Actuel. As a cop and her stepdad, Dante would be completely torn between his duty to the law and his love for his family if he has to arrest his stepdaughter. This could lead to a permanent, unhealable fracture in the family. Looking ahead, Charlotte and her descent into darkness does not just end with Carly or Emma crying. It ends with a fundamental shift in the power dynamics of the entire town. It sets up Charlotte to be the next major legacy villain for decades to come, an heir to a dark throne who truly believes she is the hero of her own story. The future consequences of Charlotte crossing this line will ripple through all the core families forever, ensuring that her family curse is alive, well, and more dangerous than anyone could have ever predicted.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.